Emily had always believed that happiness came from one place, one person, and one steady heartbeat beside her. When she married Daniel, she thought her life had found its center, the kind of love that would carry her through every storm and fill her home with laughter.
For a while, it did.
They built a house filled with memories, welcomed their children, and shared the quiet comfort of everyday life. But when Daniel's work grew heavier and his time at home slipped away, Emily began to feel like she was standing in a crowded room, yet utterly alone. She wanted to be grateful. She wanted to hold on, but the emptiness in her heart grew louder than the noise of her own thoughts. She didn't stop loving him, not even for a moment. But what she discovered along the way was that happiness was not a gift one person could endlessly provide. It took more. It took family, friendships, community, and the unexpected kindness of people she had barely known. In ways she could never have imagined, she realized that Daniel needed 5 others to keep her truly happy. And none of it was about betrayal or disappointment. It was about rediscovering what love really meant. It began with her children. On a day when she felt the weight of everything pressing down on her, she heard laughter in the backyard. Her daughter Lily, 7 years old with curly golden hair, was trying to teach her little brother Noah how to cartwheel. They fell again and again, tumbling onto the grass, and each time they laughed harder. Emily stood on the porch, her arms crossed tightly as if holding herself together, and for the first time in a long while she felt something stir. Their joy was infectious, pure, and unshaken by the troubles of adulthood. When Noah spotted her, he called out, "Mom, watch me. I almost did it this time." She clapped and cheered, her heart softening as she realized that their happiness could be her happiness too. Another piece of her healing came from her best friend, Sarah. They had met years ago in college and stayed close, but in the chaos of raising kids, their conversations had become quick check-ins rather than the deep talks they used to have. One Saturday, Sarah showed up unannounced with coffee and muffins. Emily had been sitting in silence, staring at the clutter of breakfast dishes, when the knock came. "I thought you could use some company," Sarah said simply, and for hours they talked about life, about dreams, about the things that scared them and the little victories that kept them moving forward. Sarah reminded Emily that friendship wasn't about grand gestures, it was about being present. That day, Emily felt less alone. The third source of light came from a neighbor named Mrs. Carter. She was older, with silver hair pulled neatly into a bun, and she lived alone at the corner of their street. Emily had exchanged polite greetings with her for years, but never spent much time with her. One afternoon, while walking back from the park with the kids, Emily saw Mrs. Carter struggling with grocery bags. Without hesitation, she helped her carry them inside. What she thought would be a quick favor turned into an afternoon of stories. Mrs. Carter shared memories of raising her own children, her late husband's humor, and the quiet lessons life had taught her. She reminded Emily that even when people leave, their love doesn't vanish. It becomes part of the strength you carry forward. Emily left her house that day with more than gratitude. She carried wisdom and perspective that helped her see her own life differently. Her fourth pillar of happiness came unexpectedly from her children's school community. When Emily volunteered for the annual fundraiser, she hesitated at first. She felt drained, unsure if she had the energy. But she forced herself to go, and what she found was laughter, camaraderie, and a sense of belonging. Other parents welcomed her, shared stories, and worked alongside her with kindness. She realized that joy could be multiplied when shared with people who cared about the same things. By the end of the day, she was exhausted but deeply fulfilled, her heart lighter than it had been in months. And then there was the fifth herself. For so long, Emily had forgotten that she, too, could bring herself happiness. One quiet evening, when the children were asleep and the house finally still, she sat with her journal. She began writing, not about her struggles, but about her dreams, her gratitude, and the small moments that made her smile. She wrote about the smell of Noah's hair after his bath, about Lily's determination to read bedtime stories aloud, about the way Daniel's voice softened when he tucked the children in, even on nights he was exhausted. She wrote until the pages were filled, and in those words, she found herself again. She discovered that happiness didn't come from waiting for someone else to fill her heart. It came from choosing to see the beauty around her and within her. Over time, Daniel noticed the change. He saw Emily smiling more often, laughing with the children, walking with Sarah in the mornings, helping Mrs. Carter with her garden, and throwing herself into the community she once held at arm's length. One night, as they sat together after the kids had gone to bed, he reached for her hand. "I'm sorry I haven't been here as much as I should have," he said quietly. Emily squeezed his hand. "I know you're trying your best," she replied. "And I realized something. I don't need one person to do everything for me. Happiness isn't just about what we give each other, it's about what we let others give us too." Daniel listened, and in his eyes was both relief and admiration. He understood now that her joy didn't mean his failure. It meant she was surrounded by love in many forms. And that, in truth, only strengthened their marriage. The seasons turned, and with each passing day Emily grew stronger, more rooted in the life she had built. She leaned on her children, her best friend, her wise neighbor, her community, and herself. And Daniel, though still busy, learned to slow down, to sit at the dinner table more often, to play catch with Noah in the yard, to braid Lily's hair before school. Together, they created a rhythm, one not dependent on perfection but built on shared love. Looking back, Emily realized that her happiness had never been about needing 5 others in a way that replaced her husband. It had been about widening her circle of love, allowing different people and moments to pour joy into her heart. Happiness, she learned, wasn't a single gift from one person. It was a tapestry woven from many threads, each one making the whole stronger and more beautiful. And in the quiet of her heart, she whispered a truth she would carry forever. Love grows when you let it be shared.